Hola, namaste, jambo, bienvenidos. It's wonderful to have everyone here this morning, this beautiful morning here in Arizona. It's that time of year to want to be here, right, Professor Booth? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Sanjeev Khagram, and I have the honor and privilege of being the Director General and Dean of the Thunderbird School of Global Management, this incredible school that's been around for 75 years. We want to welcome all of our prospective students, perhaps parents and others, obviously here in the room, but also around the world. We know how complex life has become over the last 2 years. If it had been complex before, the world, the pandemic, lots of transformations in the economy and society, culture, obviously major global geopolitical challenges that we're all facing and that are impacting our lives. But at Thunderbird, we really always have a belief in the incredible possibilities of human ingenuity, bringing people together across cultures, across sectors, across organizations, and the possibilities for a brighter future for all of us, including our families, our children, our grandchildren, for the next 75 years as we talk about it. I want to, before I go into my opening presentation here, say thank you to our incredible team, Dr. Adam Henry, our head of student success, Katie Prado, who's been leading the charge on student recruitment and enrollment, everyone else that's part of this, our incredible team, our academic team that you're going to meet later this morning. It's an entire village, really, at Thunderbird. We really believe in that. And as I always say, when you join Thunderbird, you will get a phenomenal program, whichever program you decide. You will be part of a historic institution, 75 years of history with a richness that is very powerful that I'll share with you. But what you really join, most importantly, and what's most special for us is our global family. Thunderbird is very much a family here and around the world. We take care of one another. We are bound by a mystique that's hard to explain, but once you're part of it, you feel it, right? And our students who are here know what I'm talking about, and certainly our faculty, staff, alumni around the world. It's truly a special place, and it's been really one of the honors and privileges of my lifetime to be part of the school for the last 4 years. So let me get you started. First, I wanted to share, we have this great new global headquarters. I hope that you will take a look, walk around. I'll say more about it in a second. It is the most technologically advanced global headquarters of a leadership management business school in the world. We are confident in that. In the future, we might get superseded, but we're going to keep pushing the frontier. But it's very much also part of that Thunderbird mystique. And so if you walk into this, obviously this incredible digital global forum, as we call it, where we can, beam out to all corners of the world and look at all the technology on the ground floor, whether it's our digital tables or our AR, VR language lab, our volumetric capture, many other things. But if you walk up the 5 floors, you walk back in Thunderbird and global history. So take a look at the walls, see the spirit of the school, all the way to our founding, which is on the 5th floor, and a very important part of our school, which began at the old campus in Glendale, where we were for 68 years, the Thunderbird Pub, which we'll come back to in a second as well. So we welcome anybody who can join us for that great grand opening. It's going to be the entire week, April 4th to 10th. The ribbon cutting is going to be on April 8th, which is our Founders Day, where we'll celebrate actually 76 years, and then a global leadership forum on Saturday. Every night that week, there's going to be regional nights. It's a very special tradition of ours at the school, where students and faculty and alum and partners do really celebrate different cultures around the world. And that, again, reminds us of what makes Thunderbird so special. So Monday will be, I believe, Africa night, April 4th, then Latin America night, European night, Asian night, and then Friday will be all, sort of global regional night, all cultures, all regions of the world. Food, music, dance, celebration. And that's, again, part of what's special about Thunderbird. It's very unique. There's nothing like it anywhere, certainly in the United States and arguably in the world. Just want to say a little bit about my background and what brought me to Thunderbird and ASU. You probably gathered that I am of Asian Indian descent, but my great-grandparents came from Porbandar, which is where Gandhi was born in Western India. They left both grandparents, sets of grandparents, my mother's side, my father's side, in the late 1800s during the late British colonial period. They moved to East Africa, Kenya and Uganda, again, under British colonial rule, as many Indians were brought over, particularly those who were lower class and lower caste, like my family, to build the railroads. They built the railroads, my mother's side in Kenya, my father's side in Uganda, and then went on to become traders and merchants and entrepreneurs and business people. By the time I was born, both families were incredibly successful. Please, and I was born in Jinja, Uganda, and if anybody's ever been to that spectacular place, the source of the Nile is truly one of the most amazing places on the planet. By the time I was born, my focus my father's side, because they were in Uganda, we were the 20th wealthiest family in the country. We had concerns from pharmaceuticals to insurance, electronics, agriculture, you name it. But then there was a dictator that some of you may recall, whose name was Idi Amin, that was in power and expelled 100,000 Asian Indian families from Uganda in 1972. My family was part of that, we were part of that, I was part of that, and we lost everything. We lost everything. We fled across the border to Kenya, and then were taken out of Africa by the International Rescue Committee to refugee camps in Italy. After several years there, we were sponsored to the United States to the great and very exotic state of New Jersey, where I had a wonderful, sort of high school and middle and high school years. I started my first companies when I was 13, little gift shops and hotels. By the time I graduated, I had 5 with my family. I was lucky enough to get a full ride scholarship to Stanford, and that was really what we think about now when the third industrial revolution, and we'll come back to this in a second, really was on the rise of the internet. So being out in Silicon Valley during that time, being an entrepreneur from my family background, it was an incredible, sort of experience. I designed my own major in development engineering and studies because I wanted to work on large development projects around the world and give back, because for me, like so many of us when we were in undergraduate days, we're trying to figure out what's our identity, what are we going to do, and that experience of being expelled from Uganda really, really was important. And the simple theory I had was that if we had had sustainable and equitable peace and prosperity in Uganda, we would have never had the expulsion. And so I wanted to contribute to that. 25 years later, being at Thunderbird, our vision is a world of sustainable and equitable prosperity and peace. So it feels very right to be here at this point now. I finished my undergraduate and then a double PhD in economics and politics from Stanford. Went on to be a professor at Harvard Business School and Kennedy School. Been at many different types of academic institutions, a private R1 like Harvard, public R1 like University of Washington, and now here at Arizona State University. Small liberal arts college called Occidental in Los Angeles, but I've taught and done research all over the world. I've had the privilege of living in over 45 countries and traveling to 135 countries, now 136 actually. Added another one recently. But most of my career, about half of my career was not in the university because I was always someone like us at Thunderbird more generally, our faculty, our alumni, connecting the world of scholarship and academia and theory to practice. So I have set up a couple of startups and exited from them, tech startups, was dean of the Desmond Tutu Peace Center, set up a series of global partnerships, including the most recent one prior to coming to Thunderbird, the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data, which was about harnessing the data revolution to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And that really gave me an inspiration about why Thunderbird and Arizona State University were such an incredible combination. And so I bring to bear, and as you will hear this afternoon from our faculty panel, and our staff and our students that we have and our incredible alumni, all of us have these incredible stories. Since I've been at Thunderbird, it's been 4 years, and I'll come back to this in a second, I've traveled to 95 countries. I've talked to T-birds and all of T-birds, as we call them, all over the world. And every single one of them has talked about how Thunderbird transformed their life. And they have these incredible stories, how they ended up at the school, what the school did for them, what the community, the family that Thunderbird is, means to them, how that supported them in their professional lives to be incredible, successful professionals, executives, government leaders, nonprofit leaders, social enterprise, startups, entrepreneurs, all the rest, but also in their personal life. And it's been a special, sort of 4 years. Let's see if you, So when I came to Thunderbird 4 years ago, we were setting out on a new trajectory. Thunderbird has this, as I said, incredible history, which I'll come back to, was number one in the rankings for international business management for a very, very long time. Incredible students, executive, graduate programs, executive programs, and so forth and so on. We became part of Arizona State University in 2013-14. Mergers and acquisitions in the private sector are difficult. They don't really exist in higher education, so we were figuring out our way. But over the last 4 years, we've really transformed, and part of what was looking out into the world. And these are some of the factors, as you see over here, that have really been shaping our world. And this was pre the COVID pandemic. The global economy was transitioning. Working age populations in advanced countries like the United States, but other parts of the world, Europe, Japan, were increasing, while much younger. Average age of the population in Africa is 18 right now. So we have a very big difference in demographics. The nature of skill sets and fluencies, capabilities was dramatically transforming. Had a lot to do with the last point, technological innovations have been disrupting everything. Climate change, of course, was underway, as was many other environmental challenges, health issues, even pre-pandemic. Global power relations were shifting, and the recent invasion by Russia into Ukraine is only, in some sense, it's not in some sense something new. It's something that's been building for several years, if not decades. And ideas and identities were driving waves of exclusion all around the world. Parochialisms and nationalisms have been on the rise. Now, Thunderbird was founded on a belief in globalism, bringing the world together. And the famous motto of our founders, the Thunderbird Air Force pilots that founded the school, was borders frequented by trade and diplomacy seldom need soldiers. Borders frequented by trade and diplomacy seldom need soldiers. Very powerful, because they were military men, and they were military men, Thunderbird Air Force pilots that came back from the horrors of World War II and really thought there was a better way to peace and prosperity. And so if we think about Globalism 3.0, which happened between 1981 and basically 2015, it was one of the greatest periods in human history in terms of poverty alleviation, and technological transformation, opportunities, and so forth and so on. At the same time, though, we became a much more unequal planet, a much more unequal world, both across countries and within countries, whether it's here in the United States, all around the world, from Brazil to Kenya to India, everywhere you go, inequality was on the rise. In addition, we know that we were entering in this epoch called the Anthropocene. Now, natural scientists have now identified that we are, and it's not on this slide, but basically, in the since 1945, humans have become the predominant drivers of all environmental changes, whether that's climate change or species extinction or any of these other aspects, loss of tropical forests and woodlands, fisheries, and so forth and so on. So we are in this period called the Anthropocene, and the Anthropocene means human-driven transformation of the planet. And it's a very small slice of planetary history, but we are the drivers of it. And the future of the planet depends very much on what we do as human beings, as leaders, as managers, as business people, as government leaders, in civil society, and so forth. And we believe at Thunderbird that we need to move and transform the world to a more circular economy and address those inequalities to create a more inclusive and sustainable Globalism 4.0. So we set ourselves in everything that we did, from our programs to our faculty to our partnerships, everything that we do to bring not only the world together in terms of a more inclusive and peaceful globalism, and it's hard out there given the pandemic and everything that's going on, but we're fully committed, but also to not only sustaining the planet, but helping it thrive again, and I'll come back to this. So the last piece of the puzzle for us in thinking about the context was the fourth industrial revolution. Some people call it the fifth wave of innovation. Basically, it's this period in human history where 12 technology sets that are here, from AR, VR, to space technologies of all kinds, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, automation, all of this are accelerating, interacting in a speed, in a velocity, in a breadth, and a depth never imagined before, never experienced before in human history. But It's not unlike, in many aspects, the first, second, and third industrial revolutions, which were marked in the late 1700s to 1800s by the steam engine, then by really the rise of modern manufacturing in the late 1800s to the mid-1900s, the Model T Ford plant and airplanes and light bulbs, electronics, and so forth. The third industrial revolution, which I mentioned, the rise of the internet, which for my generation was the most our generation, right? The most transformative thing. Remember, I know we have a lot of young people in here, and they have your iPhones or other PDAs. Please welcome. That the iPhone was not invented until 2008. 2008. So it's a very new thing, right? 2008 in this expanse of what we're talking about. Now we're in the fourth industrial revolution. And what we've done at Thunderbird over the last 4 years, and again, everything that we do, from the programs you'll take, the courses you'll take, the faculty we're recruited, you'll meet some of them this afternoon, to the partnerships, everything that we do is how do we embrace and maximize the fourth industrial revolution. Because industrial revolutions are not just about the technologies. They're very much about the underlying social, economic, cultural, political transformations that they engender. And that's, again, what makes Thunderbird so unique. If you're coming here, and we welcome you if this is what you want to do, to have an incredible business career, to become a CEO, to do a startup, become a unicorn, this is a wonderful place for you. And most likely you're going to be embracing the fourth IR technologies to do that. You are. But we want you to do that in the context of a set of values, a set of principles, a set of perspectives and aspirations, not only for yourself and your company, your startup, that we hope will become a unicorn, but for our societies and the planet, because that's what Thunderbird is about. It's about doing well and doing good, and that's the core sort of part of who we are. So the fourth industrial revolution, and perhaps the two major aspects of the fourth industrial revolution that are amongst the most exciting, although they're all exciting, and you'll hear from Professor Greg Autry, is what's happening in terms of space and the incredible opportunities of space technologies and commercial space and the new world of space, whether it's the famous ones that you hear about, SpaceX and so forth and so on, Blue Origin, all of those, which are incredibly exciting, to less well-known, but incredibly transformative new companies like Planet Labs, which has small satellites out in space, orbiting the Earth, taking incredibly precise imagery of our planet. And what's exciting about this, as Professor Autry will share and our team will share, is it's not just about travel out in space. It certainly is about that. It's also about, right, Greg, transforming what we do here on Earth and engendering new jobs, new opportunities, addressing climate change, all of these incredible things. Likewise, the metaverse. Now, the metaverse is not meta. Let me just start off by saying that. It was a brilliant move by a good friend, Zuckerberg, but the metaverse is much bigger than that one company. And I will share with all of our students and parents and friends here today, in my view, the metaverse is the next internet. There's no question about it. And guess what? Thanks to Professor Booth, Professor Sully DeLuque, and a great new faculty member we have, Travis Cloyd, with one of our existing ones, Patrick Lynch, we have the first class on the metaverse of any business school in the world. That's what you get at Thunderbird. We will continue to pioneer innovation. We will continue to bring to you the best, the newest, the most important trends, patterns, opportunities here anywhere in the world and everywhere in the world. And the pandemic only accelerated the fourth industrial revolution. Obviously, even for us as higher education, we went online. Digital transformation accelerated. If you talk to CEOs and company leaders, but also government, NGOs all over the world, the pandemic accelerated what was expected by 10, 20, sometimes 50 years in terms of adoption of new technologies, business models, practices. It's an exciting time, but it's also a challenging time because the pandemic has brought so much sad difficulty. Obviously, loss of life, health issues and economic challenges, mental health issues. So we pay very much attention to both sides, what the opportunities are, but also how we can support our entire community, and certainly you as prospective students. Finally, all of this does advance our broader commitment to advancing a circular economy, and the Sustainable Development Goals. In 2015, 197 member states of the United Nations agreed to the perhaps most comprehensive international agreement in human history, the Sustainable Development Goals. 17 goals, 175 targets, that's grown to 225 targets, more metrics than you could imagine, and it ranges everything from ending poverty to addressing climate change, empowering women, girls, sustainable communities, infrastructure, so forth and so on. It's a blueprint, it's a direction, it's a framework, a set of aspirations for 2030 for all of us. Now, the pandemic, again, has made it more challenging, but we at Thunderbird and at Arizona State University are completely committed through the companies that we help our students engage in, and our alumni lead, through governments, to civil society, through our own research, everything that we do to make sure that the world heads in this incredible direction. So since we came to Thunderbird, we really focused on 5 strategies. One is flying in formation with Arizona State University. Let me just say what's great about coming to Thunderbird today is you get this incredible institution, this global family, and you get, in addition, the #1 university for innovation, 7 years running, a university that's a $4.6 billion a year university with every imaginable capability, faculty, research, and the programs we've created not only maximize your ability to benefit from our faculty, our resources, but the broader range of ASU. Whether it's the downtown campus, our law school, public affairs, health solutions, nursing and health innovation, or those schools at other campuses. Our sister school in the Carey School of Business, if you want to do supply chain, you could do that over there. Sustainability, you could do that with Global Futures. If you want to do life sciences, you could do that with the School of Natural Science. It's amazing. Engineering, you could do data science with the School of Engineering. This is what Thunderbird and ASU offer you. Second was to reclaim our mystique, which is really important to us, and part of that is this incredible building, but it's also because our alumni are fired up again, and you'll see this in a second. The third is rebuilding the foundations for success. Fourth is reinventing ourselves for the 21st century, very much what I said about the 4th Industrial Revolution. We are now not only the most global leadership management business school in the world, but the most digital and technological. And it's in the building, in our programs, our faculty, everything we do. We very much practice what we preach. So we're about global inclusion, innovation, and impact, and you have a gateway, a portal, when you become a student with us, again, to an incredible program, whichever one you decide. I would argue the best in the world, this incredible institution, and this Thunderbird global family as part of ASU. And you know where in the world you get the #1 school for global leadership and management and the #1 university for innovation. So what's our vision? It's a world of sustainable prosperity and peace worldwide, and we are about empowering each and every one of you and all those who we engage to be global leaders and managers in this 4th Industrial Revolution and Anthropocene, to be future ready, to be able to push the frontier, to really be vanguards and pioneers. This is our history. We were founded 75 years ago in the campus in Glendale, as I mentioned. We increasingly, our first graduates went and led and managed the Marshall Plan and the rebuilding of Europe. So the school has always been very involved in the world of practice. We started to have students from Europe and Latin America, Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. By the 80s and 90s, we had the #1 master's program, the Masters of International Management. Now the successor of that is the Masters of Global Management, a 21st century successor that many of you are interested in. Executive programs, and then since 2018, as I said, becoming the most global and digital leadership management school in the world. This is a sense of some of our incredible alumni. We have 50,000 incredible T-Bird alumni around the world in over 140 countries. We have as many CEOs of Fortune 500 companies as any business school or leadership professional school in the world. But we also have leaders in the government sector. Minister Soraya, who used to be the Minister of Trade and Industry of Rwanda, now is the first female Deputy Central Bank Governor of an African country ever. We have President Luis Moreno, who was the president of the Inter-American Development Bank for 15 years. But we also have Joaquin Duato, the CEO of Johnson & Johnson. We have as many heads of the pharmaceutical companies that have helped save our lives, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, as any business school, leadership school in the world. That's the community you become part of, and they're everywhere. We have 170 alumni chapters in over 100 countries around the world, and they meet every first Tuesday, Friday of the month at their local pub, because back at the old campus, as I mentioned, it was a sort of global village, and that was what people did. And I mentioned we have a pub up on the 5th floor as well. So we're about global mindsets, but also digital global mindsets. Thunderbird invented a notion of global mindset. It's actually a scientifically valid instrument. It's how we measure learning outcomes for all of you. There's 3 dimensions: intellectual, social, and psychological. But to that, again, is everything that we've done, global and technological, we've added the notion of a digital global mindset. And if you have these digital global mindsets and skill sets, you are ready for anything. Going back to our values, in the early 2000s, students, faculty, staff, alumni established an oath of honor. And so for all of our incoming students, our faculty, our staff, our alumni, our partners, we commit ourselves to this oath of honor. It's part of our underlying values, and every great institution has these fundamental values. For us, it is that we oppose all forms of corruption and exploitation. We respect the rights and dignity of all people, and we advance sustainable and equitable prosperity and peace worldwide. These are our fundamental commitments. Since the pandemic, we've really had 3 principles: everyone's safety, health, well-being, physical, but also emotional, psychological, mental. We know the hidden impact of the pandemic has been the mental health crisis. And so we've done everything we can for our students, our staff, our faculty, our partners, our community members, our alumni around the world. We've struggled like everyone else, but we were fully committed, and our staff, and particularly with our students here at Thunderbird and across ASU, are there for each and every one of you as we continue to navigate these uncharted waters. The second one is to deliver world-class excellence in all that we do, with precision and discipline, agility and resilience. And, important to us, compassion. This is a core value of ours too, and a principle. We know that everyone has different things going on in their lives, a loss of a loved one, a job loss, whatever it might be. And we meet everyone where they are, and we support them to realize their full dreams and aspirations. And finally, pioneering innovation when others retreat. Pioneering innovations when others retreat. Since the pandemic, just to give you a sense, we've launched that space program, we launched a creative industries program, we're about to launch next year a professional doctorate of professional practice. We've set up, and I'll come back to this, 7 or 8 new regional centers of excellence around the world, and so much more. We haven't stopped. We continue to go forward. And we practice what we preach. Just talking about those 3 principles of safety, excellence, health and well-being, excellence, and innovation. We invented really the world's first digital graduation because we wanted to honor our graduates. We wanted to do it in a safe and healthy way, but we wanted to do it also in a digital to technological way. So students got their diplomas as avatars, robots. We had holographic presentations from guest speakers, and they got delivered their diplomas with drones. This went viral to 550 million people around the world. We have also advanced a online app and platform for the Thunderbird community, so when you become a student, you get access to this. It's exclusively for us. Think LinkedIn, Facebook, Indeed.com, just for the Thunderbird community. We're one of the first educational institutions in the world to have it just for its own alumni, students, faculty, staff. And we've got one of the best websites ever. We inherited a pretty terrible one, and thanks to our incredible team led by Thomas Bilbao, we have a website 4.0 fit for Thunderbird 4.0. We've also brought in incredible faculty, and you're going to get to meet some of them, but I'm going to just mention a few that you're not going to meet this afternoon. Down at the bottom, you have Glenn Edens, who's a professor of practice. Glenn invented the laptop. So you could take digital transformation from the guy who invented the laptop. Ted Hope was the CEO of Amazon Movies. Angelina Belaskova, who teaches financial engineering and fintech, crypto. I'm sure a lot of people are interested in crypto. A lot of things going on with that and digital currencies. She was 3-time a U.S. women's chess champion. That's the kind of faculty that you're going to be able to engage, and you'll get more of that today. You can see the diversity. We have Professor Rebecca Brant Wang, who's a serial entrepreneur and the head of our Master Center for Global Entrepreneurship and Family Business, and so many others. Rangina Hamadi, and I'll finish with her, but you're going to meet many of these, really tremendous faculty. I'm so proud of what the faculty we've had, who have been amazing, that you're going to meet, and also the new ones it's an incredible faculty community. Rangina was the former Minister of Education of Afghanistan until recently, and in fact is a T-Bird alum of a different kind. In 2005, she took an entrepreneurship program, a 2-week entrepreneurship program with Thunderbird, which led to her setting up one of the first social enterprises in Kandahar. Then she set up the first private high school in Kabul, and then became Minister of Education. So these are the people, these are the incredible faculty, and this is just giving you a glimpse into them, and you'll talk to some of them later in the panel of who you'll be able to engage with. In terms of our programs, we have everything. Some of you might be online, might be interested in our undergraduate programs, our BSIT, our Bachelor's of Global Management. They're totally unique. The Bachelor's of Science International Trade is STEM certified, so if you're an international student, you can get 3 years of optional practical training. We have our Master's of Global Management with 18 concentration now, 17, 18, I'm lost track. 17 plus you can design your own concentration, 49 credits, 2 years, but 24 credits of incredible global leadership and management courses, and then 25 credits, 1 credit of professional development. The others, you get to choose. You get to create your own concentrations, design your own concentrations, fill those ones, whether it's global business, global digital transformation, global entrepreneurship, data science, health solutions, sustainability. It's truly awesome. And 3 of those are STEM certified, again, for our international students, global business, global digital transformation, and data analytics. That gives you 3 years of training here in the United States in terms of visas. So we also have our programs in DC and LA, including our space and creative industries programs, and then an executive master's program here in Phoenix. Soon we'll have the doctorate of professional practice. In addition to this digital transformation that we've undertaken, and we believe obviously everyone is undertaking, and we're supporting many companies, governments, NGOs, and others to do the same, we have done a massive global blitzscaling. We started 4 years with 2 centers of excellence in the world, one in Moscow and one in Geneva. Just to give you a sense on the Moscow one, which is a difficult time for us because we have 60 staff in Moscow and several staff in Ukraine. We've trained 550,000 individuals across the CIS in the last 26 years. These centers are remarkable because they provide all of you as students, our faculty, with ways of engaging the world, for us to engage those alumni, those incredible alumni around the world. And so now we have them, as you can see, in Dubai and Nairobi, DC and LA, Dakar and London. We actually just launched Bogota and Mumbai. Soon we're going to be launching Mexico City, Istanbul, Manila. So by the end of this academic year, which is June, this academic fiscal year, when you come in, we'll have 20 centers of excellence around the world. And for those of you who are in the MGM program or other programs, do field seminars or global challenge labs, these incredible applied learning experience out in the field, those centers are the infrastructure. They help develop those great partnerships and projects. They connect you with internships and employment opportunities everywhere in the world. There's nothing like it at any leadership management business school in the world. Of course, our great building, I mentioned it. This is our Digital Global Forum. You walk into the 4th Industrial Revolution, the space age here on the 1st floor, and as you walk up the 5 floors, you walk back in Thunderbird and global history. Every two floors are connected by regional heritage lounges, Africa and the Middle East, Asia, Latin America, and then you get to the European Bistro Pub. So it's truly a special place, and it's brand new, all for you. This is what we do out in our centers around the world. The most important, I would just say, for our students and prospective students, they're your gateway to anywhere on the planet. These are the partnerships we've developed, and many of these are employers for all of our students. Truly fantastic opportunities, and I'll come back to that in a second. Women's Entrepreneurship Worldwide, founded in 2005. Professor Rangina Hamadi is one of the graduates of that. We've trained nearly 200,000 women at the bottom of the pyramid. We're also the host of Phoenix Global Rising, making Phoenix an incredible global city. The mayor of Phoenix, Kate Gallego, is our incredible benefactor, supporter, friend. The city of Phoenix actually invested $13.5 million in this global headquarters. Phoenix is now the 5th largest city in the United States and the fastest growing city in the United States. The greater Phoenix area is one of the most technologically dynamic places on the planet. Number 1 or 2 in semiconductors now everywhere, fintech, health tech, everything you can imagine. So it's an incredible ecosystem to come into. Even if you decide, and we know T-birds, they're going to go all over the world, all of you, this is a great place to be. And it's increasingly a culturally vibrant, diverse, inclusive place. So it's a really special place to be for a couple of years, a year or two. And then we also launched the Global Carbon Removal Partnership. It's hard to see that, but basically, when we think about climate change, we have to adapt to climate change. It's happening, we know that, and we have to do that at scale. We have to decarbonize. We have to get to 1.5 degrees net zero. But in order to do that, we can't do that without massive carbon removal. Think of it as planetary waste management. We put garbage into the air. We just have to remove it. 95% of carbon is actually legacy carbon, right? And if we don't remove that and store it in some durable, sustainable way, equitable way, we're not going to get to where we need to go. The exciting thing is that there are huge business opportunities in carbon removal. On the natural side, reforestation, afforestation, land regeneration, ocean restoration, and on the technological side, direct air capture, negative carbon building materials, negative carbon products. There's even now a negative carbon poultry company in the world. This is a huge new area for T-Bird graduates, and we're at the frontier. We launched the Global Carbon Removal Partnership at COP26, and we're working with the Egyptian government to make COP27 the first ever carbon removal COP. So this is what Thunderbird does. Not only do we give you a world-class education, I said, we give you an opportunity to engage in transforming the world. Finally, we launched on January 20th, perhaps the most ambitious global education project in human history, to reach 100 million learners over the next 10 years with courses translated in modules, translated into 40 languages at no cost to the learners. This is something, again, because we want to go back to creating sustainable and equitable peace and prosperity and inclusive and sustainable globalism. So it's all about the SDGs, but it's also about making sure that each of you realize your full aspirations, your full ambitions. And there's nowhere in the world that you're going to get the greatest global experience, the most technological and digital, undergirded by a set of values and a Thunderbird global family, part of ASU. It's truly magical and special. You won't, I promise you will never regret it. And where we're headed over the next 75 years, and we're inviting you to be part of this as our students and future graduates, is the Thunderbird Academy of Intergalactic Leadership. The Thunderbird Academy of Intergalactic Leadership. We did this exercise with students and faculty, alumni, partners, and the idea is that, we're not thinking just about the next 5 or 10 years, we're thinking about the next 75 years. And that's increasingly what CEOs are doing, what government leaders are doing, what NGO leaders are doing all over the world. That's what you get at Thunderbird. It's truly a special place. And I think you'll get to know we have a lot of fun. We like to have joy. We celebrate a lot. That pub is more than just a place of eating and drinking. It's a place of celebration. That's what it symbolizes for us. And that includes our regional nights or so many other great things. So I'm happy to answer some questions. Welcome to Thunderbird. I promise you'll never go wrong. You'll be transformed, and the set of opportunities and assets that will become part of your life, both professionally and personally, will last your full lifetime. Please enjoy, ask lots of questions, and welcome again to Thunderbird. We're so delighted and honored that you joined us, okay?